Your family decides to go to Disneyland. It is the month of 2015 in January. It is a beautiful day, clear skies, and the park is filled with people. Your 3-year-old cannot sit still while you try and keep your 10-month-old baby from crying. Little did you know, both your children that day would be infected with the measles. Hello, my name is Kayla Robinson, and today I'm going to persuade you that all children should be vaccinated. Whether you have children now, plan to in the future, or maybe not at all, this topic concerns you. As long as you are out in the world in a public place surrounded by people, you are at risk. Today I will present the problem unvaccinated children are causing, why they are not being vaccinated, and a solution that will help protect us all. Without immunizations, vaccine-preventable diseases would spread like rapid fire. Intentionally unvaccinated children are putting themselves at risk as well as the society. There are many cases throughout history that show the problems unvaccinated children are causing, and I'm going to tell you a couple of them. The Procon.org website reported an 18-month-old Amish baby that contracted polio in 2005. She spread it on to 4 other unvaccinated children, but since the herd immunity was so high and so strong, it stopped there. There was no outbreak that occurred. Now, vaccinations lead to herd immunity. And when I say herd immunity, it's a critical portion of the population that is vaccinated against deadly contagious diseases. The Catholic Digest reports that the medically exempt population, as well as babies 10 months and younger, rely on the herd immunity for protection because they either are too young to have that vaccination, say MMR, or their immune system is too weak because of disease they're already dealing with. The problem is so many parents and guardians these days are choosing to opt their children out of vaccinations, which means the herd immunity is decreasing and we're leaving the medically exempt at risk. In terms of the measles, the New York Times, March 9, 2008, stated that the herd immunity needed to be 95% immunization rates in each state in order to prevent an outbreak from occurring. In more recent events, the Los Angeles Times, January 21st, 2015, reports a measles outbreak here in Anaheim, California, at Disneyland. Now, 70 cases were pulled from that outbreak, and within those 70 cases, 43 children were infected. 37 of those children were unvaccinated. 1 was half vaccinated, and 5 children were fully vaccinated. Now, the Los Angeles Times also disclosed a testimony from research professor at UCLA, Dr. James Cherry, that even the vaccinated have a small risk of being infected. Vaccines are only 90 to 99% effective, so there's still that little risk. And by choosing not to vaccinate your children, you're putting those who are vaccinated at risk as well. No one likes to be lied to. I think we can all agree on that, especially when it involves the harm of a child. The false information provided through media and publishings these days are brainwashing the minds of parents and leaving them to not vaccinate their children. People in media pages such as Andrew Wakefield and mommy forums are filling minds with lies, and these are only few false sources that are out there. Andrew Wakefield, I'm sure most of us have heard of that article that he compared autism to vaccinations and said there was a link with it. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. He was falsifying children's medical records in order to paint a picture to the public and scare them away from vaccinations. This was concocted by Wakefield and lawyers to sue vaccine manufacturers. That way, people wouldn't vaccinate their children. He'd be making a profit off of it. The Procon.org website stated that he was found guilty of this action. And even though he was stripped of his medical license, and his article was retracted, people still use this as a form of evidence and an excuse to why they are not vaccinating their children. The Voices for Vaccine website stated that mommy forums are biased and they circulate false information, and new parents, as well as parents that have been parents for a while, go on these websites, stumble along these websites and read the false information. And then they go and tell their family, their loved ones, their friends, kind of like a domino effect. So the world is being filled with false information. Now, Wakefield and mommy forums also lead parents to think that ingredients within vaccinations are poisonous, and I'm going to tell you a few of them. Thimerosal is an ingredient used in certain flu vaccinations, and it was taken out of most vaccinations after the Wakefield scare because so many parents were deciding not to vaccinate their children. Not because it was poisonous or caused autism, just so many people were not vaccinating their children and the herd immunity was dropping drastically. People also don't look at what else thimerosal is in. It's in contact lens solution, nasal spray, throat spray, air conditioning filters, as well as eye ointments. If you've exposed your children or yourself to these things, you're already exposed to the ingredient that you're claiming is causing autism, that people are claiming causes autism. Another ingredient is aluminum salt. This substance is just used as a boost to help a better immune system response. The USA Today article states that without this substance, we would need more doses of vaccinations in order for it to be effective. And let's just be honest, most people don't like being pricked with needles more than they have to. The Disease Control and Prevention website states that vaccines are closely monitored, and they're under evaluation for 10 years before they get a license issued, which means it's not available to you before 10 years time. It's in trials and being tested frequently. Every parent has a personal choice. But let me ask you this, is this still a personal choice when it affects the entire society as a whole? Outbreaks can be prevented with strong herd immunity. To obtain this, vaccination should be required by law, and certain exemptions should be banned. Each state allows for different exemptions. Those exemptions consist of religious, they consist of philosophical, and they consist of medical. Medical exemptions should be the only exemptions that are allowed, because these ones are the hardest to get, and you truly have to have a health risk in order to get this exemption. Religious exemptions should be banned, and before you say taking away this right is taking away our right to act with the freedom to act on our religious beliefs, which is within the U.S. Constitutions, but please understand this. The second that religious belief interferes and jeopardizes our society as a whole, it's open for regulations. Because having those two extra exemptions, philosophical and religious, are allowing for spreads within the academic area, within schools. Your children are in danger, at risk. If we can have every single state with just the medical exempt, then we'll be protecting our children and ourselves. Today I presented the problem intentionally unvaccinated children are creating, why they are not being vaccinated, and a solution that will help protect us all. Remember, you will not only be making a choice when vaccinating your child to protect them, but you're allowing other parents the opportunity to protect theirs as well. Just say yes to vaccines.